Time to wire up the Dragon. So I'm just going to use this for testing purposes. I have it plugged into a surge suppressor so I can have a switch to turn it on and off. Normally, these three power supplies will plug into those three plugs right there. Everything will sit in that waterproof box. I'll still use all my my plug shield water gaskets in there just in case any moisture gets in there, but these can't be out in the rain. These are my relays. So I'm just going to show you real quick how I figured out how you can set these relays off just by giving them power. So here we go. So imagine my controller, which is I have my Dragon on port number 9 on my computer during my show. I can say, hey, on this part of the song, I want you to turn it on for 10 seconds. So it's like me going outside and pushing the Dragon try me button, pushing the fog machine button for 10 seconds, and lighting up the lights for 10 seconds. So I'm gonna duplicate that just by pushing this switch. So you can see there goes the fog machine, there goes the Dragon growling, and the lights are lit up in his mouth. Then I'll go ahead and turn it off, and it stops. So now to the relays, how they work and how I figured out to do them by just giving them power. What's really cool is you can have these plugged into anything switchable. So if you want to just set it off, or they sell motion sensors that take AC, anything you plug into it, and when that motion sensor gets tripped, it will provide power to the port that you plugged it into. So you can actually even hook it up to a like one of those light motion sensors in front of your house or whatever. So anyways, here's the relay all broken down here. So you have your, on one side you have your power, which is your DC plus, DC minus, and in. I don't know if you can read these, I can't tell because the sun is shining on my screen here. This is where your power comes in, and you're going to run a jumper from the DC minus and into the in, as you can see here. This is, so I have my plus, my minus, and then I run a jumper wire. This is important. This is what tells the relay to trigger when it receives power. So as soon as this gets power, this jumper wire says, oh, let me send a signal to the relay to click on. And the purpose of the relay is literally just like it just connects. It just clicks, and it will. It's like you basically pushing the fog button, fog machine button. This wire right here, it splits. So I have it coming out here. This wire splits over to this wire, which runs down my roof and down to my fog machine down below. You saw in the video where my fog machine is. And then this one runs over to the try me port on the Dragon. Here, I'm zooming in here so you can see. There it is. So I'm sure you've been to Home Depot or any Halloween store or where they have a little button that says try me, or a pad you step on. That's what this little port right here, the one with the silver nut. That's where it looks like a little plug, like a stereo headphone, but it's a mono. And then the plug to the right is just the power to the Dragon. So one wire goes to that silver nut, and the other wire runs down to my button of my fog machine, like I showed you in the video yesterday. So on that part, here's the out. You have an NO, which stands for normally open. You have a COM, which is just your common. And then you have NC for normally closed. So 99.99% of all the props are going to be normally open. Imagine the button is just sitting there, but when you push on it, you're closing the circuit. So you're going to hear a click. You're going to contact the two wires together. So you're going to come from the normally open, and you're going to come out from the COM. This doesn't make any difference, red or white, positive, because all you're doing is you're just touching the wires together to create the reaction. And then I created these little boxes here. I just put these little screws in here. You can't put a nut, but I made it shallow enough where then I'll just go and snap these boxes on here, and then it'll keep everything nice. That'll all go in here. Now for the lights in his mouth, it's a little bit different. These are on I don't know if I mentioned, these are on a 5-volt relay, which is on a 5-volt power supply. This one is a 12-volt relay because the lights in the Dragon's mouth are 12-volt LEDs. So same thing, I'm coming in, instead of 5-volt, I'm coming with a 12-volt power supply into here. Same thing, I'm just jumping the wire, so when it receives power, it's going to send a signal. So what's going to happen now, it's going to send the signal here, but then I had to add a separate plug, a separate power supply, because it's going to click it, but then it's not going to do nothing because it needs power to light up the lights, because this does not transfer power. All this does is just connects these two wires together. So I just added a separate power supply coming in, and I went from the negative out to the Dragon, and then I went from the positive out from the power supply to the relay, and then the other end of the relay going out to the positive going out to the Dragon. So you can see here how I wired it up. So I have the negative and the negative going to the relay, and then the positive, the negative's going to the Dragon, the positive's going to the relay, and then from the relay I have the negative going to the positive of the Dragon, and then the positive going into the power supply. And that is how everything works. I forgot to mention that the power supply for the Dragon needs to have constant power. Do not put that on a switch. So the power supply is the one on the right next to the silver nut on the tri-me port. So that one I just have it running down and going to a constant power supply all the time, because that needs to be powered on all the time. So when you do hit the relay for the tri-me port, which is the one right next to the power supply, the one with the silver nut on it, it's going to know what to do and trigger the growling and lighting up the eyes of the Dragon.